Breaking news to the plant community, moss poles are officially canceled. I mean, not literally, but in my mind they are. I always have disliked moss poles. I talked about this in my trend predictions at the beginning of the year. Seems like a lot of people also don't like moss poles. In today's video, I want to talk about different alternatives to moss poles and which ones are best for different plants. Let's go. First of all, I want to say there's nothing wrong with moss poles. I just personally don't like them because I consider them to be a more high maintenance form of helping your plant climb. They are still a great way to get those huge giant leaves, but if you're like me, a lot of us don't like having to keep them moist. Option number one is Option number one is letting the plant trail instead of making it climb. This is a Cebu Blue pothos. Technically, it is a climber. You'll never get huge fenestrated leaves by letting it trail like this. Obviously, a completely different look. Next alternative are these cocoa poles. These are oftentimes sold as moss poles, but they're actually just cocoa poles. You don't actually have to keep them moist like a true moss pole. They're kind of just an expensive version of some of the other alternatives I'm going to show you in this video. Oftentimes, if you get them like this, you could stack them on top of each other. Next alternative are these little trellises. I feel like a lot of times in the plant community, when you think of trellises, you think of like the big ones that you would use for like a Monstera. But these plastic little cheap trellises are not bad, especially for plants like this Syngonium. Again, if you're not looking for super huge leaves, but you do want to give your plant ability to climb, these are typically, in my experience, a little bit cheaper than those cocoa poles. And the last and my favorite alternative that I'm going to suggest to moss poles is literally just a piece of wood. This is the cheapest and, in my opinion, lowest maintenance way to give your plants something to climb on while also giving them enough support to eventually get those big, sometimes fenestrated leaves. Eventually, your plant can root into it as if it would root into a tree or a moss pole, and you don't have to keep them wet. You could literally have a climbing plant climb up a wall. In my opinion, this is the new wave instead of those moss poles. I'm tired of keeping them moist. Let me know, do you guys agree? Do you like moss poles? Which one of these is your favorite? And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.